the Saw franchise had an interesting run, didn't it? From a successful first movie to sequels that were good, bad, and a train wreck might be the kindest term, we have seen quite a lot from the series. When Saw 10 was announced, fans were divided. Some were excited, while others were more cautious. Sure, it seemed promising, but the franchise has given us enough reasons to be wary by this point. Then the movie came out, and won't you know it, it was actually a pleasant surprise. It has its flaws, and sure, they are milking the series to the point that it is giving children of the corn and horror in Amityville a run for their money. But I still think this is one of the best sequels. Of course, considering some of the movies we gotten, perhaps that's not much of a compliment. I'm Dr. Midnight, let's dissect Saw 10. Our opening trap involves... wait, no. We start with John Kramer at the hospital undergoing an MRI. Making this one of the many who the hell knows when exactly this takes place installments of the franchise. They say it happens between Saw and Saw 2, but by now this tells us absolutely nothing. Hey, maybe if they hadn't killed John Kramer off in the damn third movie, they won't need to jump around the timeline like a toddler in a bouncy house on a sugar high. At least they didn't go for the it turns out John beat the cancer and that was a fake corpse and he's somehow still alive twist. Yet. As such, of course, the exam results don't look good for a motivational speaker from hell. And, also of course, we get the classic conversation with a creepy hidden meaning. You know, when the killer says something and the other person interprets it differently.
Tell me where he is.
He's in a safe place.
This has pretty much become of John's trademarks by now. I wonder if he does that while buying his groceries.
I still have a lot of work that needs to be done.
There are probably at least 10 sequels being planned as we speak right now.
My advice? Retire.
Though this is an old trope, at least they made it sound kinda more genuine than in other cases. These are things a doctor might say, and so are John's answers. Then the movie does the same thing later in case we weren't paying enough attention, and that's when it starts to get annoying. Anyway, the doctor also tells John how people at this stage tend to search for a way out. Foreshadowing, wink wink. While those who accept it may have an easier time dealing with it, and, well, let's say John doesn't find this very helpful.
Your advice to me is to die easy.
Oh please, Jason Voorhees has an easier time dying than you by this point. No time to reflect on the acceptance part of the 5 stages of grief, Tog. John's slasher senses are tingling. I think the only truly credible part of the franchise is how easily John finds out those awful people to kill. Man, John works fast, huh?
I'd like to play a game. Click the dial across the 5 positions and you will live.
So, the guy has to break his own fingers, otherwise his eyes will be sucked out of his skull like something out of a Happy Tree Friends episode? I'm gonna have issues with the censorship in this dissection, aren't I? Hey, thank goodness this patient just so happened to have a hand injury that inspired John, right? Who would ever think about punishing a thief by breaking his fingers otherwise? Yeah, I know it's a minor detail, but it bothers me, okay? The guy fails his trap and... Wait. So, movie. The first trap we get. The trap that's even on the damn poster. Turned out to be a fake cult. Oh, come on! That's like revealing that the reverse bear trap never happened or that this was Amanda's twin sister or something. You better make up for this later, otherwise I will be very mad. If you probably realized by now that Saw 10 focuses entirely on John Kramer as the main character, rather than his victims or whatever cops investigating him. Even in the movies where he appeared the most, it was never quite like this. And I think that's great. By now, the traps and John Kramer are the main reasons we still watch those movies, even when we're pretty sure they're going to suck. Not only he's a great villain with motivations we've never seen before, but Tobin Bell carries this entire series on his back. Most fans agree that some of the best scenes in the entire franchise are the ones where he appears. Of course, there's the fact that some of the previous Saw protagonists were either blunt, dumb, or both, but still. While placing his affairs in order, our live or die coach sees a man that he has met in his cancer support group, Henry Kessler, who looks surprisingly well for someone in the terminal stage of pancreatic cancer. Though he didn't look quite that bad before anyway. Excuse me, doesn't this type of cancer usually reduce muscle mass, especially in the terminal stage? Oh, who cares? What matters is that Henry's in complete remission. How did that happen?
A doctor. He offered a treatment. Medication isn't approved by the FDA, isn't approved by anybody.
Well, I don't know about you, but that sounds super credible to me. Because he's such a pal, Henry shares the internet link with John, and okay, I don't need to pretend, do I? We all know that this is a scam. We know there is no treatment, and we all know that the people involved have a very nice place reserved in the pile of gore that we come to expect from the franchise. We all know that, right? Cool, guess what? We still follow John as he researches this treatment, finds the totally real doctor's daughter, goes to Mexico, and I get it. The movie needs to show this. Scams like that exist, and some are detailed enough to look real. Not every scam's the old Nigerian prince deal. The issue? I still don't think this looks good enough to fool someone like John Kramer, who, as we've seen every damn movie he appears in, is both a cynic and also a guy who can solve a Rubik's Cube while playing poker and still predict everything everyone will do no matter the variables involved. Let's see. The so-called doctor, Cecilia, claims to offer a miraculous cure that no one has ever heard of because the big drug companies don't want people to know it exists. Therefore, she needs to operate on her patients out in Mexico, Bolivia, or a damn hole in the ground. And despite John later saying that he will wire the second half of the payment the next day, we see her with a lot of money. So we can assume that at least the first half of the payment is only accepted in cash. Those are all red flags, but you also mean to tell me that he didn't even ask Hoffman, whom John later asks to find the scammers for him, to run a background check on Henry or Cecilia? Again, I see how some people might fall for this scam, sure, but not John freaking Kramer, no matter how much he wants to be cured. Not only has he dealt with scammers and liars in the past, but, again, he understands the worst side of human nature. Not to mention, he's a serial killer. Wouldn't that make him a little more wary of others anyway? Also, since you know this whole thing's a scam, the time dedicated to it might bore you. John goes to Mexico, it seems he's being kidnapped, but it turns out those guys are taking him to the fake clinic's location. He meets the fake doctor and her team. Yeah, these are necessary scenes, but there's not much substance in them. If you're here only for the traps and the gore, you might find yourself wishing the movie would hurry up rather than feeling nervous about how John will react once he figures out the truth.
That was quite a reception that I got on the way out here.
We've had to beef up the security wherever we go. We must keep our location secret from everyone, even you.
And so the warning bells ring with no one there to hear. Also, I'm not questioning how they got all this equipment, and neither should you. No, really, this kind of question went out of the window like 5 moves ago.
Matteo is an anesthesiologist. He'll be helping out with your surgery tomorrow. Valentina, she'll be taking some scans and drawing some blood.
Thank you for the hitings regarding their traps.
What do you do? Like for a living?
I help people overcome inner obstacles. Help them make positive changes in their lives.
Oh, a few of them end up mutilated, traumatized for life, or completely cray-cray, but I still see this as a positive change. Wipe it down, kid, I'm trying to sleep. What? Is John going to find out that this boy's father is abusive and put the man in a trap?
How do you say pull?
Hala.
Hala.
Wait, what? No, movie, what are you doing? We're not here for the emotional scenes. Wait, stop! Yeah, they are really trying to sell the humane side of John here. Oh, he's not just a killer, see? He helps kids. He's a nice man deep down. Yeah, just so you know, this scene still screams emotional manipulation to me. The reason why it isn't as ridiculous as it could have been is because Tobin Bell somehow manages to give John the whole grandfather-like figure vibe. Oh, how sweet. Next thing you know, he'll be teaching this kid how to make his own traps. John has his surgery and wakes up with Cecilia telling him how everything went well. And John must think they're amazing surgeons considering he's not in a hospital room and they didn't even shave his head. Jeez, they got you hook, line and sinker, huh? But John thinks he's cured, so we get the whole new appreciation for life thing. Like when he's enjoying a nice afternoon in the park while planning new traps to rip people apart. What? A man's gotta have a hobby. Only it seems he's having second thoughts about what he once called his life's work. Now, I have to say it. I hate this implication that John at least considered stopping with the whole testing people's will to live, or however you want to phrase it. The way I see it, even if we were to place this movie way back when he was just starting to make traps, he would already be too dedicated to his idea of rehabilitation to stop. While the cancer was part of John's motivation, along with all the other stuff that they threw in later, it was in the sense of being what led him to his ideology of valuing life, rather than being the reason itself like this scene ends up suggesting. If anything, I think being cured would only motivate him more. Oh, I guess I was just in a bad spot and I was lashing out. But I'm fine now and I promise I won't do that again. I think I'll go kiss a babe and hug a puppy. Maybe the movie is aiming for something like John could still have changed his ways, or imagine how he'll react once he realizes it was all a lie, or just trying to hammer home that those scammers are bad, awful people, while portraying John as more of a hero. Whatever it was, I think this scene just weakens him as a serial killer. Which he is. Let's not go with that, oh, he never actually killed anyone crap, okay? Wanting to give Gabriela, a girl working for Cecilia, a thank you gift, John uses his mad math skills to calculate where the so-called clinic is. After everything he did in the previous movies, I'm not even surprised anymore. Casinos in Las Vegas are probably scared of him and not because of the traps.
If you're good at anticipating the human mind, it leaves nothing to chance.
Yeah, you're a genius or whatever. But, uh-oh. And to make it extra clear that this whole thing was a scam, those idiots even left behind the equipment, books, and the video that they used while faking John's surgery. Because those people are only as smart as the movie needs them to be. But, okay, I kinda do feel a little sorry for John here. I don't know if it's because Tobin Bell is such a great actor, because this was indeed a fucked up thing to do, or because I'm more of a sentimental idiot than I like to think I am. Now merely, or what, more or less 34 damn minutes in, we finally get to what we came to see. Hallelujah.
¿A dónde vamos?
Al infierno.
Diego wakes up and... oh, that's so not good. As for how John knew this guy was the cab driver, I'm not sure. Mad brain skills. I mean, he's the only doctor whose face John didn't see, but for all he knows, it could have been one of those dudes.
Hello, Diego. I'd like to play a game.
Should I show pics of kittens and fields whenever a trap appears so Uncle Tubby won't get on my back? Just wondering. See this trap, for example. Diego has pipe bombs attached to his arms. He can't cut the cables, so he needs to cut his own flesh instead. Ouch. I love how John just watches Diego from another room like that. It's such an evil overlord thing to do, but to be fair, Tobin Bell can look menacing when he wants to. It might seem a bit cliché, but it works for me. Diego survives his trap, meaning that he'll return in like Saw 22 as yet another one of John's apprentices. Now that Diego has told him all about the people involved, John has Amanda come to Mexico to help him out. Business trip, sure, but maybe she'll find time to check out some tourist spots once the work's done. Maybe watch the sunset, take some time off, relax for a bit, you know. As for the rest of Jigsaw's little helpers club, I guess they were too busy, or maybe the passports expired, I don't know. Oh well, it's a good thing the scammers left all that stuff behind at the old clinic, because now John can put it to good use. Yeah, as if you're still wondering how he makes all those traps. You could tell me that he ordered all this stuff on eBay and I would go along with it by now.
John? It was you? Why?
Because he's throwing a party, what do you think? John reveals that he discovered the scam and, in case those idiots have not figured it out yet, he's a little mad about it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for our first player in tonight's Jigsaw games, Valentina. John, what do you have in store for our first contestant?
It's a Jigsaw.
I thought you said there was a key.
He's going to have to explain things really slowly to this one, huh? On a side note, am I the only one who thinks this haircut doesn't suit Amanda at all? She looked so much cuter with longer hair. I'm sorry, I digress. Let's go back to the game.
It creates an extraordinarily clean cut to the bone.
The dotted line on your leg marks the spot.
Let me get this straight. She has to cut off her own leg, suck 3 ounces of marrow out of it, or her head will be cut off like a Thanksgiving turkey?
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Damn. Suddenly having to cut off your own foot doesn't sound that horrible. Cecilia still tries to save face by insisting on the lie and saying that John's case was just different. But, whoopsie! It turns out that John checked her bank records, found out that she has been doing this for about 8 years, and he and Amanda even took the money from her house. Again, you have a police detective with the necessary resources for those investigations under your thumb. Why the hell didn't you try this earlier? Oh, whatever, just get to the gore.
You'll make it. So long as you keep your head.
Okay, that was funny. Valentina plays the game and chances are you're either going to think this scene is disturbing or hilarious. Or both. She manages to cut her leg off but not in time to get enough marrow, so our player is out. Me? I may have never paid much attention in human physiology classes, but I'm pretty sure a human being would go into shock from the pain. Not to mention the bleeding considering a little tiny yet crucial thing called the femoral artery. Oh well, with our first player out, it's time for the next round. However, Amanda sympathizes with Gabriela because of her own history as a drug addict, so she tries to talk to John about it.
Drugs are as vicious as they are powerful.
To which John is a little less understanding, meaning he doesn't give a damn.
We all have free will. And if you can't handle this, how will you handle the rest of our work?
Pretty badly if you consider all 3. Meanwhile, a phone starts to ring, but none of the players can reach it, until Cecilia has an idea. They can use Valentina's guts as a rope. Disgusting, yet effective. So now she can call for help, be rescued, and... or not.
I'm a total fraud. But my father, he can save you. Let me tell him where we are and he will come.
Face it, you're a terrible liar.
But the patient that John saw earlier at the clinic, Parker, comes pounding at the door, claiming that he also figured out that everything was a lie and demanding his money back. They let him in and Amanda gives him the traditional Jigsaw welcome. Once he wakes up and they explain the whole situation, he reacts in the expected way.
You killed Valentina.
We don't kill.
She didn't have the will to live.
It's just adorable that we still have those people trying to give each other moral lessons as if this is some deep philosophical debate regarding the levels of evil and morality in human behavior. You're worse. No, you are worse.